If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, but also if you guys want to check me out on my social media, check out the links down in the description, and if you guys want to contribute to our next feature film, you can check out the links down there. Any help would be greatly appreciated, but with that being said, hope you enjoy the video. So I haven't really talked about Bong Joon-ho on the channel, and that's because I've been waiting for this very moment, this very video. I'm going to be ranking his 7 films. I'm a huge fan of Bong Joon-ho. I've really enjoyed going through his filmography. He's really talented. I love basically every movie that he's made I really like. Like there are some that sort of are better than others, obviously, but just because I have like a number 7 does not mean it's bad at all, because he's got a pretty solid filmography. But we're not going to waste any time. We're going to go ahead and talk about my number 7. My number 6 is probably controversial, and that's because, I mean, a lot of people like it, but I'll get to that in a second. I just thought I'd give you a warning. But number 7 is going to be Barking Dogs Never Bite. Now, this is actually a really good directorial debut. It is very, I would almost say ballsy. Maybe it's not as ballsy in South Korea, but if something like this was made in America, I'm pretty sure people would be pissed off. If you don't like dogs being harmed or anything, don't watch this. But it's, like, I don't want to see animals get harmed either, but the way that it's portrayed in this film, it definitely is a black comedy. It's something that's, meant to not be funny, but it just can't help but be funny. I enjoyed it a lot. I really did. I enjoyed this film more than I thought I would. This was just one where I was like, oh, well, I got to check it out, because it's a part of his filmography. But the more that I heard about this film, the more intrigued that I was. And if you actually sit down and sort of take the film for what it is, it's pretty entertaining. It's very different. It is. It's very different. It's not really something that I would be rewatching all the time. I mean, I might watch it again, whenever I revisit his filmography, but I don't see myself rewatching this one a lot. Not a bad film, but there has to be a number 7. But if you are a fan of Bong Joon-ho, definitely check this out. This would probably, if I'm being honest, the only reason why I would check this out is if you already are a fan of Bong Joon-ho or you're wanting to get into his filmography. Is it still worth watching if you're not a fan of Bong Joon-ho or you don't really care about that? Sure, it is worth watching, but I don't see many people checking this film out, especially now, unless they're wanting to check out Bong Joon-ho's, filmography, which I kind of completely understand. But yeah, Barking Dogs Never Bite, still a solid directorial debut. Now, my number 6, okay, I got this film spoiled for me. I watched this one video. I was watching, a ranking of Bong Joon-ho's filmography, and this was whenever I was actually watching it. It's taken me a little bit to go through all these because I like to be in the mood when I watch a film. I don't want to watch it just to force myself to watch it. But I was watching a ranking. There were no spoilers for any Bong Joon-ho film until it got to this film. And then I got it spoiled for me. And I just couldn't get it out of my head because it was a big spoiler. Maybe if I wouldn't have got it spoiled, I would have enjoyed it more. But the film I'm talking about next is Mother. I know a lot of people have this film high up on their list. I can't help it. I still enjoyed it. It's still a good film. And the thing that I got spoiled would be awesome for a first time viewing, but I don't know. And I don't want to speak too much more on it because I don't want to, it's probably not what you think. Like if I would have watched this, that would have never popped up in my head. So don't think that it's going to be something extremely massive, because it is massive, but there's still a lot more to the film, if that makes sense. So I don't want, you guys to sit there and be like, oh, well, I've never seen this, but I know there's a twist. There's a lot to this. It was just, what I'm trying to say is I wish I would have went in more blind. Unfortunately, I didn't get that chance, but I still enjoyed the film. I enjoyed it a lot. I just feel like I could have enjoyed it a lot more. I did sort of have a sour taste in my mouth while I was watching it. It is slow. I do think this is the slowest out of Bong Joon-ho's films, maybe besides The Host. The Host is also pretty slow, but I do find The Host more entertaining than this film. But basically, the premise of this is this woman, her son is being accused for a murder that he did not commit, and basically you're trying to figure out what actually happened, or she's trying to figure out what actually happened, trying to prove his innocence. There's a lot of really good scenes with the mother in this, and it's there's one in particular where they're on this sort of Ferris ride or whatever. It's kind of this abandoned amusement park, or nobody's there. It was very atmospheric, and I really enjoyed it a lot. But Mother, solid film. make sure you go into this blind because there's a lot of stuff that goes on that's worth watching. Coming in at my number 5 is The Host. This was another Bong Joon-ho film that I was not really excited to watch because I was like, oh, just a monster movie, you know, The Host. You don't really, I hadn't heard much about it except the beginning. It's got Herschel from The Walking Dead, which is crazy because his role is so small in this, but yet, like, here in America, I mean, he's huge on The Walking Dead. So, honestly, great film. I mean, this film took me off guard. This is how you do a monster film right. The monster is literally just the backdrop. The characters are the center of the story. Um, what is the guy's name that Bong Joon-ho works with a lot? I'm trying to, let's see. Doesn't even, yeah, Song Kang-ho. I think that's how you say it. Yeah, he's in a lot of Bong Joon-ho's films. Um, Seriously, solid film. CGI is not really that great, but I guess for the time that it came out, it wasn't that bad. A lot of political stuff in this, or maybe not political. It's pretty political in my opinion, but that's fine. You know, hey, that's how artists get their stuff out. Well, not how they get their stuff out, but you know, that's sometimes an inspiration for an artist, and I get it. So, but no, it's still a solid film. I mean, I think that the character development in this film is absolutely fantastic, especially given, like, you know, this sort of family dynamic and the girl that gets taken by the monster and them trying to find her. It can be an emotional time for these characters, and when you're seeing it for the characters, you're watching it for yourself. It can be an emotional time for you too, especially with some certain scenes. Very well directed, very refreshing. I mean, this is a refreshing monster movie. You see monster movies all the time, but there's not really many like this. Um, and it's kind of crazy how relevant it is after all the stuff that's been going on. So The Host is definitely worth the watch. I would even honestly recommend watching this even if you're not a Bong Joon-ho fan. This is still something that I would recommend watching just because I feel like a lot of people can relate to it, especially now. But it's still a very entertaining watch. And if you're a fan of monster films, it would be probably pretty refreshing. Coming in at number 4. Now, this is a Netflix exclusive. I would like to see this get like an official physical release. I know they do have physical releases out there. I'd actually like to see Criterion pick this up because I know Criterion like has a deal with Netflix. But the film that I'm talking about, which you probably already know, is Okja. Now, this oddly enough has Jake Gyllenhaal in it, and it is. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. Excuse me. It's about this pig, and it's these pigs that are, I guess, kind of like they're made. They're not necessarily natural. Um, and it's definitely emotional. It is very. It's also got Paul Dano in it. And he's like this sort of animal rights activist. It's very different, and it's one of those films where I understand the message that's getting across completely. There are some scenes in the film that are actually kind of like this is probably, in my opinion, one of the most mature kid movies that you could probably show your kid because it is very, it's a very adult film. There's some very graphic scenes. There's some very like honestly hard to watch scenes. It's tackles animal abuse, animal cruelty. It tackles a lot of that stuff, and it can get pretty rough at times. But I think this is probably, in terms of maybe if you wanted to show your kid a mature sort of like heartwarming film, this is probably as mature as you can get. I enjoyed Okja a lot. I enjoyed it, like I said, a lot more than I thought I would. I really would like to see this get an awesome like Criterion release because I do think it's worthy, and I would love to see the film sort of get a lot more recognition. I feel like this film didn't really get much recognition until Parasite came out. I know when Parasite came out, Bong Joon-ho really, that's when his career started to I mean, his career's obviously been good since Parasite, but you know, in terms of something globally, or you know, people actually his name becoming like a household name, I think Parasite really was the thing that did it. Because after Parasite, it seems like a lot of these films really did pop off a lot. I mean, even for me too. But I really did enjoy Okja a lot, and that's why it's at my number 4. So my number 3. Now, this is a film that I did want to watch, and it is a very, very good film. Snowpiercer. It's got Chris Evans, John Hurt, of course, John Hurt, and who else is in it? It's got, of course, Song Kang Ho. Let's see, and Ed Harris. Ed Harris, I love Ed Harris. Octavia Spencer. it's got a really good cast. And this film is a post-apocalyptic sort of dystopian sequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Seriously, if you look into this film, it can't be a coincidence. Like it's too out there. It's too crazy. Um, it's this train that's going around the planet because the planet's basically frozen over, and if the train stops moving, well, they're screwed. So the plane's constantly moving around. Poor people are in the back, rich people are in the front, and it really is like a strong message with the rich and the poor. That's one thing that I've noticed that Bong Joon-ho does really good with his films. Solid watch, solid watch. This is, I think this is his first American film. I think it is. This and I think Oksha. Oksha's like a really good mix between like South Korean and American, but this has a lot of like American speaking actors in it. It's solid film too. There's also like some really cool like fun facts about this film. I won't get into them. But Snowpiercer, definitely worth the watch. It's very entertaining, and I knew like as soon as I watched it, I mean, it was awesome. And one of my favorite Bong Joon-ho films. Honestly, I don't know. This one could go up depending on how I'm feeling, but I like it right now at number 3. Now, the next two are interchangeable. I feel like if I were to watch them more, if I were to watch them in the future, right now I'm pretty set on my ranking right now. So I don't know if they would change. It depends. But the next film coming in at number 2, and it feels like this is the one that they've been trying to sort of like promote the most because I've heard a lot of people say that this is better than Parasite. Memories of Murder. This actually just recently got a Criterion release. I loved this film. This film was absolutely fantastic. I loved every second of it. Of course, it's got Song Kang-ho in it. Let's see, does it have no names that I recognize? Which, of course, I can't really say that. Of course, Bong Joon-ho, but this is a very, very good murder mystery. This is basically the Zodiac film for South Korea. This film is well directed. It was Bong Joon-ho's sophomore film, and it is depicting the murders that happened in 1986. I think it was in or outside Seoul, South Korea. It is just, I think it's ballsy in a way because they actually recently, well, I don't want to say it because, well, I just compared it to Zodiac, but they just recently figured out who was the person that killed all the people, or they had a good idea. This film is, it had like the opportunity, like there was a chance this film could have been pointless because if you don't figure out really what's going on in the film, then what's really the point, But it's just like Zodiac. You get sort of this clear answer, but it's not really a clear answer. And I think this has one of the greatest final shots in cinematic history. I'm not kidding. It is that good. I don't want to say anything. I feel like I've said too much, and if I did, I do apologize. I don't think I said too much, but I enjoyed this film a lot. Go into it with an open mind. Do your research about this case before you watch it. You will not be spoiling this film for yourself if you do the research because, like I said, this film it's different and it takes a very weird approach. I'm not going to say any more. Just definitely watch it. It's good. And coming in at my number 1, Parasite. Now I actually have this on a regular Blu-ray too, but we got the Criterion. Actually, my father-in-law got me this Criterion. Parasite is, I think, phenomenal. It's a masterpiece. It's right up there with Memories of Murder. It's just right now I'm feeling this film. Won Best Picture at the Oscars, Best Screenplay, Best Direction. What else did it win? Best Foreign Film. Solid film. Solid film. It seems like this is the film that definitely really did boost his career like a lot. I don't even have to say anything about this. I really don't. This film is just immensely popular. This film is just crazy popular, and I love the recognition that it got. It didn't win my movie of the year when I was doing sort of my movie of the year video, which I don't even know if I'll even do those anymore. I like doing my game of the year, but movie of the year, it's kind of harder for me. I gave it to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Thinking back on it, I don't regret the decision that I've made, but I know that this film is going to keep growing on me because so far, the more that I think about this film, the more that I love it. And it's such a solid film. If you've not seen it, check it out. I don't know many people that have not seen this film, but I personally do think this is the best starting point for Bong Joon-ho. Check this film out. Excuse me. Check this film out. It's just awesome. It's amazing, and it'll definitely spark your curiosity for the rest of his filmography. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this ranking. I'm going to be doing a Wong Kar-wai with my wife here soon, the World of Wong Kar-wai box set. I haven't seen all of his films. I'm just going to do the box set. Super excited to do that, and I also have my Luca review going to be coming here soon. Anyway, I hope you, well, actually, that might be up before this video. It probably will, so you've probably already seen that. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you're staying safe out there. I'll see you guys next time.